The U.S. Air Force and Army held a unique test to show the capability of next-generation guided projectile, called the hypervelocity projectile. Citing the Air Force's Assistant Secretary for Acquisition Will Roper, the Air Force magazine reports that the Army Paladin Howitzer has shot down a cruise missile for the first time. According to the report, U.S. Air Force bombers, posing as enemy aircraft, have fired a BQM-167 Skeeter subscale aerial target, which imitates a cruise missile. After, airmen in the service's new 13 Oscar Air Force Specialty Code gave the order for an Army Paladin Howitzer to fire the new Strategic Capabilities Office-developed hypervelocity gun weapon system, downing a cruise missile for the first time. U.S. Air Force MQ-9 Reaper drone used an AIM-9X Sidewinder missile to shoot down a target drone simulating a cruise missile during a recent demonstration of the service's still in development Advanced Battle Management System Command and Control Network. A manned F-16 Viper fighter jet also destroyed another mock cruise missile with a laser-guided Advanced Precision Kill Weapon System 2 rocket. It was the second test of this weapon in this role and the first to occur overland. This follows reports that a U.S. Army XM-1299 155mm self-propelled howitzer blasted yet another surrogate cruise missile out of the sky using a hypervelocity projectile during the same large-scale experiment. The Air Force has been steadily providing new details about the Advanced Battle Management System on-ramp event, which ran from August 31, 2020, until September 3, and involved various demonstrations in the Gulf of Mexico, as well as training ranges adjacent to Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada and the White Sands Missile Range in New Mexico. A combined operations center and intelligence fusion cell at Joint Base Andrews in Maryland also support the experiments. The Public Affairs Office at Creech Air Force Base revealed the new information about the cruise missile defense components of the experiment on September 9. This truly was a combined effort to make this demonstration a success, Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Michael Shimolevsky, the commander of the 556th Test and Evaluation Squadron, said in a statement. While early in development, this successful test opens the door to further explore integration opportunities the aircraft and cockpits could provide to JAG-2, as well as counter-air capabilities and roles beyond the typical counter-terrorism role assumed by the MQ-9. The 556th was the unit that flew the MQ-9 when it fired AIM-9X, reportedly an advanced Block II variant which you can read about in more detail in this past war zone piece. At the BQM-167 Skeeter target drone during the demonstration, the 26th Weapons Squadron and unspecified industry partners, likely including Sidewinder manufacturer Raytheon, were also instrumental in the successful shoot-down, according to the Air Force. This is only the second time an MQ-9 has fired an AIM-9X at an aerial target. The first launch was during another successful test of the drone's ability to engage other aerial threats with a Sidewinder in 2018. The Air Force had previously armed at least some MQ-1 Predators, the Reaper's now retired predecessor, with air-to-air versions of the Stinger missile for self-defense as early as 2003. Which you can read about more here. It's also interesting to note that the Air Force is looking to stop buying MQ-9s and pursue a replacement for its Reapers that would be more survivable in a higher-end conflict. The cruise missile defense mission could potentially breathe additional life into these drones. The recent ABM's event also reportedly included the employment of ground-launched AIM-9X, but details remain limited about that portion of the experiment. The U.S. Army has been testing a number of ground-based short-range air defense systems in recent years that could potentially have been the one to fire the Sidewinder. The AIM-9X Block II features a two-way data link and added range, as well as high off-bore sight targeting and lock-on after-launch capabilities. Together with thirst vectoring and an advanced imaging infrared sensor, the weapon is more agile and accurate than any previous Sidewinder variant. The weapon's increased range and adaptive flight profiles makes it easier for them to engage more diverse threats, such as cruise missiles. The F-16 from the 422nd Test and Evaluation Squadron also brought down a BQM-167 with its Advanced Precision Kill Weapon System 2, APQS, rocket, also known as the AGR-28. The first such test overland during ABM's on-ramp. The Air Force first demonstrated the ability of this weapon to be employed as a low-cost anti-cruise missile interceptor in December 2019 during a test off the coast of Florida. Seen in the video below. Using the APQS-2 as an air-to-air weapon opens up a host of possibilities for Air Force combat jets, including shooting down cruise missiles, as well as small unmanned aircraft. Being a fraction of the cost of other air-to-air weapons, including the AIM-9X and the AIM-120 Advanced Medium-Range Air-to-Air Missile, AMRAAM, as well as fired from a pod capable of holding multiple rockets, APQS-2 could offer a cheaper means of engaging these threats, as well as greater magazine depth to do so. The Air National Guard is also in the process of upgrading its F-16C or DS with an APG-83 scalable agile beam radars, an active electrically scanned array type. That will greatly improve their ability to spot and track threats, even smaller ones, with greater precision at longer ranges. This could make them particularly effective platforms for detecting and engaging cruise missiles, including the AGR-28. Cruise missile defense was a major component of the ABM's on-ramp No. 2 experiments beyond these air-to-air engagements. US Army XM-1299 Howitzer notably brought down yet another BQM-167 from the ground with a hypervelocity projectile, HVP. The HVP, originally designed to be fired out of the electromagnetic railguns the US Navy and Army have been testing, is now being adapted for use in conventional guns, including 155mm howitzers in 5-inch naval guns. A 5-inch naval gun on a ground-based test fixture was also present at the recent ABM's test, as was a modified 175mm M107 self-propelled gun that the Army uses for test purposes. The HVP was originally designed as a kinetic projectile with no explosive warhead that would destroy its target by crashing into it. However, the versions that have been in development for conventional guns are said to have a high explosive payload that could make it easier to engage a flying target, such a cruise missile. Railguns were supposed to propel the HVP up to hypersonic speeds, Mach 5 or greater. Conventional guns cannot accelerate projectiles to the same speed, but the goal has been to find ways to get them up to at high supersonic velocities around Mach 3. This is fast enough to make it feasible for surface-based guns to engage fast-moving aerial threats, even smaller ones, such as cruise missiles. The goal for HVP has always been for it to be a multi-purpose weapon able to engage targets on land, at sea, and in the air. Just for the record, a tank shooting down cruise missiles. That's just awesome, Will Roper, the Assistant Secretary of the Air Force for Acquisition, Technology, and Logistics, said, referring to the self-propelled howitzer bringing down the drone during the ABM's on-ramp event. That's video games, sci-fi awesome. You're not supposed to be able to shoot down a cruise missile with a tank. But, yes, you can, if the bullet is smart enough, and the bullet we use for that system is exceptionally smart. It is important to note that all of the cruise missile defense capabilities demonstrated during the recent ABM's event are still very much in the experimental stage.